I'm Stan Beckensall, and I'm going to read some verse for children. The reason why I've written this is because during the lockdown I've done quite a lot of serious work, and then somebody said to me, well, why don't you write something for children? And my great-grandchildren in Kent were very keen on this, and they want to illustrate the poems. And one of them actually got a Blue Peter Award because she had done a cartoon. So she should be in a position to be able to illustrate these poems. Anyway, that's the story of it. Loch Ness. A dragon and a dragoness took a boat out on Loch Ness, but they were no good at rowing. So they didn't get very far, I guess. In fact, the adventure was a great big mess. First, the oars slipped out and sailed away, so they had to paddle with their claws, which made them pause and wonder what to do. Meanwhile, the sky had changed from blue to something of a darker hue. Big clouds like cabbages then filled the sky, and rain began to pitter-patter as the waves upon the loch grew fatter and lifted up and dropped the little boat. No longer could it float. Just then, a great sea serpent raised its head. Its big mouth opened, and in it said, "What are you two doing here? This is my kingdom. Have no fear, you will be exiled from my loch before it's 8 o'clock. Pete the dragon had a shock. The creature's head was like a rock, with glittering eyes. But Annie Dragon showed no surprise, but with a flutter of her lovely eyes, she spoke to the beast. "What is your name?" she asked. Her words were like spun silk to charm this scaly beast. "I have no name, but it's all the same to me, since I swam in many years ago from the dark blue sea. All lady serpents have a name, and if it's all the same to you, we'll give you one. That's what we'll do. We'll call you Nessie. As you rule this loch, no other name will do." Just then, the sky turned blue again, and all the rain dried up because the sun came out. Nessie felt the warmth upon her head and gave a little smile. "I like the name you've given me. I'll keep it for a while. Here are the oars that you have lost when you my water crossed. Now it's time for me to dive far down below these little waves." She did so, and some water followed her to where she lived on the deep, deep floor. "Nessie," the water creatures called her, and she felt a rush of pride. She now had an identity that the world would never hide. On the carpet. Jim sat on the carpet that was coloured like a rainbow. Just as he was settled, he felt the carpet move. In time, he gripped the sides of it so he did not fall off. The carpet opened its post-box mouth and gave a little cough. "Excuse me, please," the carpet said. "I've got a tickly throat because of the pollution caused by city smoke. It's not a joke when you take off and fly into the air. As far as I'm aware, all carpets show some distress at this pollution, for which no one seems to offer a solution. Now, Jim was a lad with big ideas, and he could help in this. Let's fly into the countryside and give the town a miss. Then folk below looked up to see a carpet heading west, on which sat Jim, who waved his hand at anyone who saw him on the coloured carpet that now so easily bore him. Let's go down now, said Jim, who saw a lovely spot with hills and flowers and stream and butterflies and bees, surrounded by a ring of ancient trees. The carpet landed gently on the grass, which parted to let Jim pass. He thanked the carpet for the trip and prepared to take a dip in the water in a pond nearby, and soon the lad began to swim in sturdy strokes with newfound vim, on seeing which the carpet joined him. Never one to be left out, he splashed about for half an hour, then shook himself with all his power, filling the air with rain, till Jim thought that was that, and once again lay flat upon his carpet friend, and asked now to be taken home, in case his parents wondered where he'd gone, and thought the worst of where the sun might roam. So they were glad the lad came back. Next time, let us know when you're off, and so we will worry less. And Jim agreed. The carpet nodded, and both went in the house. They planned their next trip for next day, and Wanderlust was there to stay. The Flea and the Fly. A flea could not fly, and a fly could not flee when they found themselves in a mess of something so sticky, so smelly, so thick, making them horribly sick. If they could not get out, they'd be certain to die. I've got an idea, if you'll give it a try, said the fly. Anything to set us both free, said the flea. Go ahead. There's a leaf there afloat at the edge of this dish. If we could just reach it, I would like to wish that we could clamber aboard and wait till we're dry. You could go back to your mattress and I to the sky. Take your time, I'll take mine. On the surface we'll stay. The leaf will remain here, it can't run away. So they patiently, slowly drifted along with the slime and mounted the leaf. But just in time, the sun came out and they sunbathed there. The fly dried its wings, and the flea cleaned its scales, and off they went with a leap in the air. Two mice. 2 mice lived in my house. I did not mind until behind the kitchen door there was a rapid pitter-patter noise. I couldn't stand it any more. It kept me from my rest. Although I did my best, my ears were sore. Unable to relax, I went into the room to find out what was causing all this noise, and soon I saw 2 mice racing up and down the box top. I called upon them both to stop. "What are you doing?" was what I asked. "We're doing what it says upon the carton." "And what is that?" was my reply. "It tells us to tear along the dotted line." "That's what we've been doing." I carefully explained that that's the way to open it along the perforation. At once the mice accepted my explanation and promised not to disturb me any more, feeling sore for their misinterpretation. Now, to the young people who've just listened to this, one thing you can do, which will keep you busy and I hope amused, you can actually illustrate these poems. You could have a lot of fun doing that. And I'd be very pleased to see the results of this. So you can always send them to me. Nice little pictures with the different scenes on and what happened. Or of course you can, if you like, do your own verse and send that to me as well. So good luck, enjoy yourselves. It'll give you something to do during these difficult times.